Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So in this video we'll be talking all about documents because I've been getting a lot of questions on my Instagram and there are a lot of people who are like truly confused about a lot of different things. First starting with apostille and then about transcripts and a lot of other things. So we'll try to cover each and every document and I'll try to give you as much information as possible. Again, the information that I'm giving you, don't just rely on them. Always, when the guidelines are out, always read through the guidelines thoroughly and then correlate both of them well, because the instructions and the information that I'll be giving you now are based on the 2022 guidelines, the guidelines with which we applied. So when the 2023 guidelines are out, just go through the guidelines and try to correlate everything well, do your own research, and then I think that would be the best way to start your application. Now the first thing I would start with is grade requirements. So if you want to apply for the scholarship, there is a minimum grade requirement that you have to fulfill to be eligible to apply. And the grade requirement is different on different scales because people are applying from all over the country and all over the world. So there are different countries and every country has their own grading scale, like on a scale of 10, on a scale of 5, on a scale of 4, 4.3, right? So on different scales, there are different requirements, but on a general scale, if I talk about like 100 scale, the minimum eligibility requirement is 80%. Right? So in India, most of the state universities, they don't give you 80% because only toppers get 80%. You usually score less than 80%. So what to do in that case, right? If you are one of those people from a state university where you have not received 80% in your undergraduate or in your master's, if you're applying for master's and PhD respectively, then you just need to submit a certificate from your university where it's stated that you're among the top 20% of your batch. So either of the two will work. Either you submit a transcript where you're showing that you have 80%, or you submit a certificate where you're showing that you are among the top 20% of your batch. So if you submit any of them, you will be eligible to apply for the scholarship. If you don't have both, then I'm sorry, but you're not eligible. And apart from the percentage system, there are a lot of other scales like I mentioned. So I'll try to show an image over here where you can clearly see what are the requirements on different scales, like the minimum eligibility requirement. So you have to stick with that minimum eligibility requirement to apply for the scholarship. The next thing that I'll be talking about is graduation certificate, which is a very important document. Now there are different conditions or different type of applicants in this case. I'll take one of each and every condition. First, let's start with students who are in their final semesters. So there are a lot of applicants who apply who are just in their final semester and they have not yet finished their degree. So what to do? Simple. If you are in your final semester and if you are not done yet with your bachelor's or your master's, what you need to do is you need to submit an expected graduation certificate. Now to submit that, there's usually a format that you can follow. It's a pretty basic format. You don't have to mention a lot of stuff, but it's like a very basic format. I'll try to paste a copy of that format in the same drive link. You can go and download it from there. So you can use that format, take it to your administration and ask them to, prepare the certificate for you. If I talk about India, a lot of universities in India, they don't like specifying a specific date when the student will be graduating. So what you can do is just ask them to at least specify the month and year. For example, a student named this will be graduating by May, June, or July of a certain year. At least ask them to specify the month and year, which is much more easy for them to specify than the exact date. Okay, so the format that I'll be uploading in that drive link, you can download it from there and take it to your administration and get it done. So this was the first case. If you are in your final semester and if you're applying for the scholarship, you have to get an expected graduation certificate from university and submit it. Now there's second class of people who are already graduated. So they have their degrees and it's pretty easy for them. You're graduated, you have your degree, you just submit the degree and you move along with your application. The third category, which is usually, I think I have seen in the case of India and a lot of other countries as well, is that if you're graduated, the universities take pretty long time to give you degrees, like maybe a year or more than a year, right? So what you can do in that case is that a lot of students who graduated last year in 2022, they might have not received their degrees yet. But you do have a provisional degrees because in India, universities, even if they take a lot of time to give the original degree, they do give you the provisional degree. So for now, you don't have the original degree, but you can apply with the provisional degree. Just submit that provisional degree with your application And make sure that if you are selected for the scholarship, you have to submit your original degree before August. So what you can do is that for now, when the application starts, apply with the provisional degree, and then once you get accepted, you can take the acceptance letter to your university and ask them to speed up the process of getting your degree done, and then just get that degree and submit it before 31st August. So that is how you can plan things out. So 3 conditions and 3 different solutions for each and every type of candidate, and that's how you should work. So you have a solution for everything. You just need to stick to guidelines, and you just need to stick to the demands that they are asking for, and coordinate well with your universities to get things done pretty quickly. The first thing we need to understand is what a transcript is, because a lot of people, they don't understand the difference between transcript and individual mark sheets or grade cards. A transcript is a single document, like a 1-page document, or a single document in which all of your marks are there. For example, if I talk about my transcript is just one A4 sheet in which I have all of my grades from all the 6 semesters I did. Okay, that is what a transcript is called. A transcript is a cumulative document which has all of your grades, all of your marks, everything from all the semesters. And individual mark sheets and grade cards are the mark sheets that you get every semester, where your GPA is mentioned for every semester, right? So that is the difference between both of them, a transcript and a grade card. The reason the scholarship committee asked for a transcript is because you get all the grades and all the marks in single place, so it's easy for them to evaluate. That is why they ask for transcripts. Now, third and one of the most important things is transcripts. Transcripts are very important because it's another, there are different cases of students and there are different cases of universities. So the transcripts usually, if I talk about India, then in India, transcripts are not given to students if they are in their final semesters. A lot of universities, they don't give you the transcript if you are in your final semester. So what to do in that case? If your university is not giving you any transcript because they are saying that you have not yet graduated and we cannot give you transcript, all you need to do is you need to submit all of your grade cards or all of your mark sheets from all different semesters. So you have to send, like for example, if you are done with 5 semesters and you are in your final 6th semester, so you need to submit the grade cards or mark sheets of all the 5 semesters, right? So if your university is not ready to give you a transcript because you are not yet graduated, submit all the mark sheets and all the grade cards. This is the first case for the students who are still in college or who are not yet graduated. Now there are students who are graduated. So if once you are graduated, you can get the transcript pretty easily from your university. Most of the universities in India have the provision of giving you transcript once you're graduated. You just need to go to the administration and ask about it, because they don't give it to you like they give you the degree. Okay, most of the times they only give it to you when you ask for it. So you have to go and talk to them and then make them understand that you are applying for so-and-so scholarship for so-and-so country and you want to submit a transcript. So they will give you a transcript. So the people who are graduated, it's pretty easy for them to get a transcript. And these are the only 2 conditions where you have. Now, next thing that a lot of people have confusion about are citizenship documents. So when we talk about citizenship, you need to remember that as an applicant, you need to submit your birth certificate. And then you need to submit your passport as an additional document as well. It's very important that you submit your birth certificate. It's a mandatory document. And if it's not in English, you have to translate it and then submit the translated copy as well. So birth certificate is a mandatory document for every applicant to submit. Now, if we talk about parents, it's specified in the guidelines that you can submit for your parents something that can specify their nationality, like passports which can specify their nationality, any national ID card that can specify their nationality. So you need to submit that. For example, in my case, my parents didn't have passports, so I submitted the voter ID cards. So the same way you can find a national identity card that specifies the citizenship. It's clearly mentioned in the guideline, if you read near the citizenship proof requirements, that they want a document that specifies your parents' citizenship. So it should mention that your particular parent is a citizen of this particular country. And then that is why they've asked you to submit national documents as well, as long as they specify the country or the citizenship of their parents. So make sure of that. But in your case, it's mandatory for you to submit birth certificate, because there's also a requirement of submitting relationship certificate, in which you show that in a certain document, you show that okay, this is my father, this is my mother, and I'm their child. So that relationship. In India, birth certificate has that relationship because the birth certificates, they have the mother's name as well as the father's name, so it shows the relationship. So it's very important to submit the birth certificate of the applicant. And for parents, if they have passports, submit that. If they don't have passports, you can submit voter ID cards for India. And for other country people, you can submit any national identity card that shows their citizenship. So that way it works for the citizenship documents. And finally, the most dreaded thing that that confuses a lot of people is the apostillation process, like how to get the documents apostilled and what documents to apostill. So according to the guidelines, they have specified that you need to get your degree, the degree certificate apostilled, then you have to get your transcript apostilled, then you have to get your birth certificate apostilled, and your parents' proof of citizenship. Now, there's a word of caution. In the guidelines, there is mentioned that if you are submitting a national ID card as your parents' proof of citizenship, you don't have to get it apostilled. But just to be safe, because I don't know, there are a lot of situations and a lot of students I've talked to where they didn't get it apostilled and some of the other thing happened later. So just to be sure, it's really good if you get your parents' citizenship documents apostilled as well. That's why if anybody is asking me about apostillation thing, I always recommend them that you get your birth certificate, degree, transcript, and your parents' proof of citizenship. These 4 documents apostilled and get them ready and submit them with your application. If you have all these 4 documents apostilled, you don't need any other document, and most of the things become pretty easy. So these are the 4 documents you should get apostilled, and make sure that they are ready before the application, because usually apostillation takes a lot of time. And I have no idea about a lot of other countries, so I cannot give you information about that. But I'll be talking about India. Now in India, the apostillation process is pretty long. You cannot get the documents apostilled yourself from the Ministry of External Affairs. It's a pretty tedious, it's a very time-taking process. First, you have to get your documents notarized from the place where the documents are issued. For example, like I did my bachelor's from BHU, Banaras Hindu University. It's in Varanasi. So if I have to get my documents apostilled, first I have to go to a local court in Varanasi and get my documents notarized. Now, after the notarization process, I have to take my documents to the HRD ministry, and then I have to get it authenticated from the HRD ministry. Once that second step is done, now I can get it apostilled from the Ministry of External Affairs, but I cannot directly go to the Ministry of External Affairs in Delhi and get it apostilled. There are agents that the governments, like agencies that the government have set up. You have to contact them. You have to tell them that I have my degree, I have my transcript, I have already done the first 2 steps. Now I wanted to get like that apostille sticker from the MEA, Ministry of External Affairs. They'll take your documents and they'll act as a bridge between you and the Ministry of External Affairs, and they'll get it done for you and will return it back to you. Now, it sounds pretty simple. The only problem is that the first 2 steps, the first step is pretty easy. You can go to the court and get it notarized pretty easily. Now, the second step, getting authentication from the HRD ministry, is a very time-taking process. It takes months. Usually, it takes around 1.5 month for you to get that thing done. That is why a lot of the students who apply for the scholarship, they contact a lot of agents, because the agents get the thing done very quickly. You just submit them the documents, you just pay them the fee, and they'll give you your documents back within 1 week. That is how I also did my apostillation, because it was a very time-taking and a tedious process. So I just contacted agents and I submitted them my documents. I will try to list his contact details in the description box if you guys want to contact him for that thing. So I just contacted him and he got everything done for me within a week, and then he sent me the documents. So this is all about apostillation. You can follow the general path, but it's pretty tedious and time taking. That is why you just can get it done by the agent, because you don't have time for that. So you have to get it done pretty quickly. Now, this first thing. The second thing is there is a website, eSansad, and a lot of people ask questions about that website, that there's a website like that, and that is for apostillation process. The only problem with eSansad is that it has a very limited use. If you go to eSansad and if you see like what documents you can get apostilled from there, it's just CBSE documents for now. and that too the CBSE 10th and 12th results 2014 onwards. So it's of no use for like undergraduates and master students who are applying for masters and PhD under this scholarship, because we cannot get our documents apostilled through the eSanskrit website. So that website is not useful for us, like for the application thing. Now the third part of the apostillation thing that you need to pay attention to is that also a lot of people ask me questions about this, is that should I get my original documents apostilled or should I get my photocopies apostilled? Now, again, a lot of different countries had different norms. Since I'm not aware about a lot of other countries, I'll be talking about India and what I did. Now in India, you can get your copies apostilled as well. There are a lot of universities in India which are not going to issue you another degree or another transcript. So now if they are not going to issue you a new degree or a new transcript, and if you submit the one that you already have, then you are left with no degree. And that is not a good thing. So what to do in that case? First case, where you can get a degree or transcript issued. Second case, where you cannot get a degree and transcript issued. Now in the first case, where, for example, in my university will issue you another degree, another transcript as many times as you want. So if I have to submit my degree and transcript, what I can do is that the degree and transcript that I have, the original one, I can get it apostilled, and then I can submit it, because I know if I want a new one, I can get it issued again. Now then, the second case, where you know that your university is not going to reissue you your degree and transcript, what to do in that case? Nothing. Just get your original degree and transcript color copied, and then get the apostille sticker on that color copy and submit that. Simple. There are a lot of people who think that color copies cannot be apostilled, but that's not true. You can get your color copies apostilled, because although my university can reissue me the degree and transcript, I submitted the apostille documents after doing the apostille on the color copies. The agent that I talked to, I sent him the color copies, and he just got the colored copies apostille. He sent it back to me, and I submitted that. So you can get it done, and in India it's possible, but then in different countries there are different rules. So you need to check in what's the case with your country. But these are the two cases for the apostillation thing. You can get it done on your original documents, you can get it done on your colored copies, depending on what your situation is. So that was 8. I hope I was able to solve a lot of your queries and confusion regarding the document thing. Let me know if you have any other question in the comment box below, and I would be happy to answer all of them. Give this video a like if you really like this video. Share it with your friends, share it with all the other applicants who are trying to apply for this scholarship. Until I see you again, bye-bye.